Alrighty, we're over in Blender. For the moment, we're going to work with square post. I lost that word. We're not going to have hexagon post at this moment. You can do that if you want to. That's cool, but it's not good for the class. Before we do anything, we're going to go ahead and delete the cube. Right click, new scene collection. I don't want to work up here in this one. I may actually want to play around with rendering, so leave the camera in the light if you want to play around with rendering. But I don't want to. We're going to be working over in this spot. This is our 0 spot. The back, remember, is backwards from Unity, so the back's over here, the front's here. Shift A, circle. I need to add a hexagon to this model. And I need to rotate it, I think, with 30? Yeah, 30 to get it flat. We want to line this up like Unity. I'm going to go to Object, Align. I'm going to select 3D Cursor. That is the negative side. No, it's the positive side. And click away. Do it again. This time I'm going to line the X. And there we are. We have our outline. This is good to work with. The only thing we really have to think about is, are we working with a even or odd row? Is that what we're designing right now? So we're going to call this just hexagon so we know what it is. We don't need to do anything with it. Now I'm going to add a cube. And it is going to say 0.125. Yeah, that looks good. And that's good enough. We will resize it. This is 1 is our world in our world. Just going to hit the A key to make sure everything's selected. And I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to hit the tab key to get out of the edit mode. And I'm going to, why didn't you, oh, because it did Y. And I'm going to align the negative sides of the Y so it's right there. I'm going to hit Control A and select all transforms, so all of my transforms are good. Now I'm going to tab back into, well, let's go ahead and line it up. Hit the 7 key to go to the upper view, select hexagon, hit the tab key, select the vertice button up here, select the selector, select the back 2 right there. And then I want to, no, not Control Shift. Shift S, cursor to selected. That is going to move our 3D cursor to the center. Now I'm going to select my cube again. I'm going to go back to Align Objects. This time I'm going to align X. And I want to change negative sides to center. And there we go. We have it centered. Now I'm going to select my hexagon again. I'm going to select these two. Shift S. Cursor to selected. I'm going to leave edit mode. Select the cube key. Go back to Align Objects. Change it to Y. And now we're centered. Now I'm going to hit the 1 key so I'm a view in the front. I'm going to go to X-ray so I can select back vertices with the box selection. And I'm going to hit the N key and put that directly at 1 because that's where I want it. Okay, so there's our even. Yeah, it's going to be plain Jane. We're not really going to worry a lot about floating fence posts, but you should be able to totally get that on your own in Unity from this when we get there. I am going to select my top face. I'm going to right click and select poke faces. I'm going to go back to the vertice selection. Now I'm just going to select that center vertice. Go back to the front selection. I'm going to invade this other place's space. But that's too tall. Yeah, just a little spike. All right, there's our fence post. Even. And now I'm going to do the fence post odd. So the first thing I need to duplicate is not the actual fence post, but the hexagon, because I need somewhere to line it up. So with the hexagon selected, you might have to select off and select back on it. I'm going to do Shift D and then hit the escape key. Just put it over to the side somewhere. And I am going to hit my original hexagon. Select that vertex right there, or Shift S, Control to select it. Tab out. I'm going to select my new hexagon. I'm going to go to Transform, Align Objects again. I want to align the Y, and I want to align its positive sides. No, I want to align its negative sides. There we go. Now, I'm going to select this guy again. Select that vertex, Shift S, and then Control, and then cursor to select it. Leave edit mode. Go back, select this guy again. Object transform, align objects, change it to X, and change it to positive sides. There we go. We got our second one, but we actually, well, that's good enough for now, actually. We will need another one in front to do our alignment going forward, because it will be different. Okay, for our fence boards in between the post, I'm going to select my post. I'm going to Shift D it, and then I'm going to hit escape. And we do not get lucky enough to line this up perfect by dragging it, sadly. I'm going to go ahead and rename it right now, fence post odd. Now I'm going to select my new hexagon, tab into it, select these two, Shift S, cursor to select it. Now I'm going to select my odd fence post, object transform, align objects, and I want to align centers again. I don't have to align the Y again though. It's good. Okay, let's get our front set up. I'm going to select both of my hexagons, because I got to do both of them. Shift D, leave it alone. I'm going to drag them out of the way. They almost line up. I'm going to select this one, this guy first, tab into it, and Shift S, cursor to select it. Tab out of it, select the other hexagon, align the Y's and the negative side, no, the positive sides again. And then I'm going to select this other one, tab into it, same thing, Shift S, cursor to select it, tab out, select the other hexagon in front of it, and it should already be set. Shift S, cursor to world origin to get it out of our way. And now we simply need to make some duplicates of these. We don't have to export these duplicates, but we need them to create our fence boards. Shift D with both of them selected, and then escape key. We can go ahead and drag them kind of up here. Now, select this hexagon first, tab into it, select these two vertices, Shift S, cursor to select it. Exit edit mode, select our fence post, transform, align objects, align centers along the Y. And that's the same. Did I do the negative or did I do, oh my, I gotta check myself. Yeah, I done the center. Okay. So that should be good on that one. Select that hexagon, tab into it, select those two vertices, cursor to select it, exit edit mode, select the second duplicate, transform, align, bam, we're there. So now we can create our fence boards of the proper length and nothing hidden. Okay. Shift A, add a cube. We'll go ahead and leave it that small size also. It put it where our cursor was. That's fine. We have to align it anyway. Grab the control there to wherever you want it, and we're going to, I guess we'll do the front ones first. And I want to select this fence post, tab into it, select that vertice, or these two vertices, whichever. Cursor to select it. Go back to our new cube, edit mode. Go back to our new cube. We want to align the Y now. Align objects. We want the positive sides, yay. And select somewhere to make it go away, then select the cube again. Go back to align objects, and this time do the X. And we want to do the centers again, so it's centered. Tab into our cube. Shift S, send it back to the world origin because it doesn't matter. I am going to select these two in the transform tool, holding down the control key so I have some control. So I have the click. I'm going to drag it about over to there. Even if I try to get numbers perfectly, don't worry about it on some of this stuff. You know, just you kind of, unless you want to make everything look perfect in cubicle, you don't necessarily have to do that. Okay, so I can't really tell if we're buttoned directly up to that, so I'm going to tab out. I'm going to select this fence post. I'm going into it and grab that vertice, and then I'm looking at the Y. I'm going to copy the Y. Tab out, go back to our cube, and make sure those are the only ones selected. Tab back out of edit mode, go to Control A and select all transforms. Now tab back in, and well, I copied the wrong numbers because this one isn't done yet. Tab out, select our fence post, Control A, all transforms, tab into it, and now grab this Y. Tab out, grab our fence post, our fence board, select all those vertices. It looks like they were almost right on top of each other. So, if you notice, these should be the right length, although we're on different posts, different places. But when we are transforming everything, this post is going to be put at the front. That's why we actually want to design it this way. So this post will be brought actually over to here. We just have them out like this. So this post will be brought up to here when we go to export. And that's why we have to do the layout. So tab out, Shift D to duplicate our first board, drag it up to about right there. And I'm going to call these, I'm going to tab out, so I'm out of edit mode. I'm going to rename these front even bottom, or front bottom even. Front top even. Okay, we are literally almost there. So we're going to rotate now. We're simply going to duplicate these two. Let's create another collection and drag our hexagons on top onto that other collection so they're out of our way. And actually we can grab these two duplicate fence posts and drag it down there also, because we're not going to export them. Okay, so I'm going to grab my first fence post. I'm going to tab into it. I'm going to select its center vertex, Shift S, cursor to select it, tab out. I'm going to select both of my fence posts, tab in, hit the A key to select everything, go to the rotate. And then I'm going to come up here and I'm going to select 3D cursor. And I'm going to rotate by 90. Nope, I'm not. I got to duplicate them first. My mistake. Okay. Shift D, duplicate them. These are side, I don't know which one this was. Bottom even. Side, top even. They will be in a second. Okay, select both of our new sides, tab in, select everything with Control A, holding down the Control key, rotate this by 90. With both of them still selected and the vertices selection still selected, go ahead and select all the ends, tab out because we've got to get where this one is. So tab out and select the fence post odd, Control A, all transforms, tab into it now. Grab some vertices on the side and we want to get their X value. Tab out, select the side boards, tab in, select all those vertices or make sure this is selected. We got to correct their, okay, tab out, with both of them selected, Control A, all transforms, tab back in, paste the value right there. It didn't do both of them. And that's a crazy thing about multi-select in Blender. It doesn't really work. Kind of works. Okay, so tab out and make sure you have the bottom selected or whichever one it didn't paste to. Tab back in and correct them. And we don't need these interfaces on any of these, so we'll get rid of them in a little bit. Now, coming from a rural background, I know this fence is horrible. I know everybody likes these fences, but these fences are horrible. You would want the boards of a fence, and this has nothing to do with game programming, but you would want the boards of the fence to be on the inside of the fence, so that when the cows and the horses come up and lean on the fence, they don't knock the boards out. Drilling these holes into the post just destroys the post and makes it age twice as fast. So you don't like to do this. But what that means for game development is that if we were going to put our fence boards on the outside, we would have to stagger them every other post, and then we would have to stagger them to each other. You kind of can do that with the base shape we're going to make for our fence post, but we're not going to do it right now. Something you can think about, you can do for yourself. So tab out, select this button up here. We have our standard fence post lined up. The whole deal is we want our odd to stay in this position on the hexagon, so we actually need to duplicate. We have to do some special alignment again. And for that, we're going to duplicate our whole collection. And we'll do that in just a second. Alrighty, let's get going. We need to, before we go on, we actually need to create these boards for our odd ones. Like I said, I know they look like they're in the same position right now, but when we align everything in the end, they won't be. So let's select our two sideboards, Shift D to duplicate. Drag them out of the way. Select my side posts, my odd posts. Select these two vertices, Shift S, cursor to selected, tab out, go to my two duplicates. I need to rename them odd now. Object transform, align objects, positive sides. There we go. And of course I need to rename them like I said. Maybe I should put the name, the odd even, on the front of these names to make everything line up a little better in Blender. Okay. Now select our front post. Shift D to duplicate. Drag them out of the way. Select the duplicate of our front post. Tab into it, select its front vertices. Shift S, cursor to select it. Tab out, select a two duplicate post again. Object transform, align objects. This time I want to align the Y. Now I'm going to go ahead and take care of, oh, I did that wrong. I did that on the wrong post. So I'm going to select those two since I've done them right in all transform. Bam. Alright, we got to do these two again. Select this post again, tab out, select this post again, tab into it, select its front vertices, Shift S, cursor to select it, tab out. Now select our two duplicate boards again. We want to transform, align objects, the Y is fine, and then we want to transform again and do the X. And this time we want to change the X to center. And there we go. Now we are ready to, well, I got to rename them. Hold on. Yeah, I should have put the names on the front. Okay, so I want to back this up. So I'm going to right click on the collection itself, say duplicate collection, and just call it BU for backup and hide it. We're not going to export that. Now with my collection, I also need to do a few other things. I need to back up my, well, I need to copy my, I need to hide the two duplicate front fence posts first. Shift S, cursor to center, world origin, get it out of the way. I'm going to, that one I need to duplicate because I'm going to move it. And I'm going to drag it back up to my collection 2 just to make my life easier. Now I am going to want to move all this in proportion to the hexagon to be lined up with this one. So first of all, I'm going to select that hexagon, tab into it, select that vertex, Shift S, cursor to center. And now I'm going to take everything that is odd. That should be everything over here in my duplicated hexagon. I'm going to select all of it. And that's the problem right there. But we can actually get this. You see, it almost works, but then they gotta do that. They don't move it by one. Just want to bring up that that's really annoying. Control Z to get out of that. So instead of moving everything together, it moves it individually. If any Blender people working on the Blender project are out there. So we need this stuff still selected. And we're going to have to do all of our alignments again. Shift S, cursor to world origin, bounding box. I don't want my hexagon selected. So why is it? Because I have it selected. No, really, I don't want it selected. Okay, you're going to make me delete it, I guess, to get unselected. Alright, what do I have selected here? I have Shift X, no. Cursor to world origin. Bounding box. Oh, Control A. Need to Control A all of our odds. And now they're way over there. Drives me nuts. Can first of all kind of move it, holding down the control key, and it didn't seem to work there. Didn't see any snapping. Oh, because snapping is now turned on. I guess I'm accidentally hitting the tab into it, select everything. Blender people are always bragging on the cursor. And I admit it has some cool features, but more than anything, it's annoying to me. Alright, and here's a cool feature of it. I can hold down the shift key, right click right there. The cursor's right there. And select, and now the cursor is right on top of it. So I can try to get this round top of it, and it seems to work, but it's a fraction off. We're not going to worry about it. Now I got to worry about it. I can see it. We're just going to do that. You can go ahead and do align objects again if you want to. But I'm just going to do it by hand. Okay, now that is absolutely wrong. Control Z till we get back to where we started from. What was wrong about it? Anybody guess? This is at the front, and that's what we need. That's where we need to line up. So we have really no choice, no way to get around it, but to do our alignments again. Select that one, select both of those vertices, cursor to select it, bam. Select our fence post odd, align transform, align objects, Y, center. Okay, tab out of it, or tab, we're not actually in it. Select that hexagon, tab into it, select both of those vertices, Shift S, cursor to select it. Tab out, select our fence post. If you select a different object while you're tabbed into another object, what will happen is the second object you selected will not be selected. So you'll have to tab out of the other object like I just did, and then go back and reselect the object that you want to be selected. I'm going to move this back to... Okay, and I am going to go object align And oh, what did I do that for with the, hold on. Tab, select, Shift S, select it. There we go. Tab out, select the post. Transform, align objects, no. Transform, align objects, X, center. Bam, it's lined up now. Now we have to do this for the rest of them. Let's do the sides first. Select the fence post, tab into it, select these two. Shift S cursor to select it. Tab out, select our two fence boards. We will align objects. We want to align the Y, center. Bam, it worked. Go to align objects again. We want to align the X, positive sides. It worked. Now let's select our fence post again, tab into it, select the vertices, Shift S, cursor to selected, tab out. Select our side, our odd boards front. Align objects, center on the X. Align objects, positive side on the Y. Now we're lined up. I know they look like they cover each other, but they don't. Okay, so we're going to go to the solid view and get rid of our end faces. So I'm going to select, first of all, my fence post. I'm going to go ahead and select both of them. Tab into them. I did Control A on them first. Select the face button, and with the pointer selected, select the bottom faces and just delete them. We're not even going to worry about them right now. Tab out. Just select all of our boards and tab into them. Delete their ends, their end faces. You can't see them. We don't even want to create them. We will create bottoms for our fence posts, but, or we might, I don't know. All right, hide our two fence posts so we can see the other ends. We won't be able to get all of them, but we'll be able to get most of them. And we'll get the other two in just a second. Select those, delete faces. Alrighty. We want our two fronts for our odds now. So I'm going to hide, no. Front top. Front, yeah, I want to hide all my odds actually. It's my evens that I want. No, I guess it is the odds I want, yeah. Thought so. Okay, so with the front bottom odd and the front top odd selected, hit the tab key. Select those two last, oh, we gotta get those two also. And delete them. Okay, tab out and just select these two boards. Tab in, select the end faces and delete them. And that should be all of them. Oh, I gotta get the front of those two. Yeah. So hide our odds now. Show our two evens, our two front evens. Tab into them. Delete the faces. Tab out. Show everything. Now go down the row. Select the first one. Control A. All transforms. Control A. All transforms. You can see over here if they've been transformed. I just go ahead and do it. So you can see this one's been moved. We can apply transforms when we export. I like to go ahead and have these to their 0. Now we got to unwrap.